Right now, there is a Social Security check sitting uncollected, and it belongs to millions of widowed and divorced Americans who have no idea it even has their name on it. We're talking about $173 a month, every month, for the rest of your life. And the reason most people never see it is not because they don't qualify. It is because nobody told them the rules, and the Social Security Administration is not going to volunteer that information either. Their job is to process what you file. Your job, starting today, is to know what you're owed. My name is John. I'm a retirement benefits educator, and this is John Retires. If you are new here, welcome. Drop your city and state in the comments right now. I want to know where you are watching from. Here's what we are covering today. I'm going to tell you exactly what this benefit is and why the people who need it most are the last ones to ever claim it. Then I'm going to walk you through the specific number that determines whether you collect the full amount or permanently lose a chunk of it forever. And then I am going to show you how divorced spouses and widowed spouses each have their own separate path to this money, and those paths have different rules that most people confuse and mix up, and that confusion costs them everything. So let us start at the beginning. When most people think about Social Security, they think about the benefit they earned on their own work record, the decades they spent paying into the system. And that makes sense because that is what gets talked about the most. But the Social Security system has a second category of benefits entirely. Benefits that are based not on your own record, but on someone else's, a spouse's. And if that spouse earned significantly more than you did over their working life, or if you stepped away from the workforce to raise children or care for a family member, the benefit you built on your own record may be a fraction of what you are actually entitled to collect. That gap is where $573 a month lives for a lot of people. And it sits there uncollected because people assume their own record is the only record available to them. It is not. Now here is where widowed and divorced individuals are in a completely different position than people who are currently married. And I want to separate these two groups clearly because they each have rules that the other one does not. Let us talk about divorced spouses first. If your marriage lasted at least 10 years, you have been divorced for at least 2 years, you are currently 62 or older, and you are not currently remarried, you may be entitled to collect a benefit based on your ex-spouse's Social Security record. You do not need their permission. You do not need to contact them. They will never be notified. And here's the part that stops people cold when they hear it for the first time. Your claim does not reduce their benefit by a single dollar. It does not affect what they collect. It does not affect what their current spouse collects. This money does not come out of anyone's pocket. It comes from the Social Security system itself, and you are legally entitled to it if you meet those criteria. The benefit available to you as a divorced spouse is up to 50% of what your ex-spouse is entitled to receive at their full retirement age. Not what they are currently collecting, not what they filed for, what they were entitled to at their full retirement age. That distinction matters enormously, and I will come back to it. Now let us talk about widowed spouses because the rules are different and the potential benefit is actually larger. If you are widowed, you are not limited to 50%. You are entitled to step into 100% of what your deceased spouse was collecting or entitled to collect. The full amount, not half, the entire check. You can begin claiming that survivor benefit as early as age 60. If you are disabled, as early as age 50. That is a full 7 years before the standard retirement age of 67 that most people think of as the earliest they can do anything with Social Security. And if you are a divorced spouse whose ex-spouse has since passed away, you may also qualify for survivor benefits as a divorced spouse as long as that marriage lasted at least 10 years and you have not remarried before the age of 60. People in this situation leave money on the table constantly because they assume that divorce ended every connection to that record. It did not. Now I want to come back to the number that determines everything. Because qualifying is only half the equation. When you file determines how much you actually receive, and for most people, that decision is permanent. There's no going back and adjusting it later. Here's the rule. If you claim a survivor benefit or a spousal benefit before your own full retirement age, your benefit is permanently reduced. At age 62, the reduction on a spousal benefit brings you down to roughly 32.5% of your ex-spouse's full retirement age benefit instead of the full 50%. That is not a temporary dip. That is the number you will receive for the rest of your life. For survivor benefits, the reduction schedule is slightly different. If you claim at 60, you receive about 71.5% of what the full survivor benefit would be. Every month you wait between 60 and your full retirement age, that percentage climbs. And if you wait until your full retirement age to claim the survivor benefit, you receive 100%. So let us put real numbers on this so it does not stay abstract. Say your late spouse's full retirement benefit was $2,800 a month. If you claim the survivor benefit at age 60, you are collecting around $2,002 a month. If you wait until your full retirement age of 67, you collect the full $2,800. That is nearly $800 a month difference. And over a 20-year retirement, that is close to $192,000 left on the table because of when you filed. Not whether you filed, just when. Now, here is something that trips people up almost universally. Social Security does not give you two checks. They do not pay your own benefit and then also pay you a survivor or spousal benefit on top of that. What they do is compare the two amounts and pay you whichever is higher. So if your own retirement benefit is $900 a month and your survivor benefit would be $73, Social Security pays you your own $900 first and then tops you off with the difference, which is $673, to bring you up to $1,373 total. One check. Highest available amount. That top off is what most people never know to ask for. And here is something that specifically applies to widowed individuals that opens up a planning window most people do not realize exists. With survivor benefits, unlike with spousal benefits on a living spouse's record, you can actually claim one benefit first and switch to the other later. So if you are widowed at 62 and your own retirement benefit is going to be significantly larger once you reach age 70, you can claim the survivor benefit now to bring in income, let your own retirement benefit keep growing, and then switch to your own record at 70 when it has reached its maximum. Or you can do the reverse. Claim your own reduced benefit early to bring in some income while your survivor benefit grows to its full amount and then switch to that. This flexibility does not exist for divorced spouses with living ex-spouses. It is specific to survivor benefits, and it is one of the most valuable planning tools available to widowed Americans. Now there's a question I want to address directly because I hear it constantly. People say they do not even know how much their ex-spouse earned. They have been out of contact for years. They have no idea what that person's Social Security record looks like. Here's what I want you to know. You do not need to know their number before you call the Social Security Administration. The SSA has that information on file. What you need to bring to that conversation is your own identification, your marriage certificate showing the duration of the marriage, and your divorce decree. They will look up the record. You do not need to contact your ex-spouse to start that process. For widowed individuals, you will need the death certificate, your marriage certificate, and your own identification. If you do not have those documents, your county clerk's office or vital records office can help you obtain copies. Before you file anything, I want you to do three things. First, create a My Social Security account at ssa.gov if you have not done that already. You can see your own earnings record, your estimated benefits at different ages, and any records the SSA has on file for you. This takes about 15 minutes, and it gives you a baseline for every decision that follows. Second, before you call the Social Security Administration, write down the key dates, the date your marriage began, the date it ended either by divorce or by the death of your spouse, your own date of birth, your spouse's or ex-spouse's date of birth if you know it. Having those in front of you makes the call go faster and cleaner. Third, run the numbers at multiple filing ages before you commit. The difference between filing at 62, filing at your full retirement age, and filing at 70 is not a small rounding error. For many people, it is 6 figures over a retirement. That calculation takes 20 minutes with a pencil or a spreadsheet. It is worth doing before you make a decision that cannot be undone. I want to close with this. The Social Security system is designed to process what you ask for. It is not designed to tell you everything you might be entitled to ask for. The people who collect every dollar they are owed are the people who came to that window knowing their options before they walked in. That is the only difference between someone who collects $900 a month and someone in an identical situation who collects $1,570. Same record, same history. One person knew the rules, now you know them too. If this helped you, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you are alerted the next time I release a video here on John Retires. And drop your city and state in the comments. I read them. Thank you for watching.